and welcome back. It's Gina from orchidandopal.com. Today we're going to be opening up the Curated Bead Box subscription for March 2023. You can see here that the theme is called Serengeti, and I'm seeing a lot of greens and earthy brown shades. And we have all the contents, of course, listed on the outside of our box. That's a little sneak peek for us. And if you're interested in signing up, I have the link located right down below the video, as well as a coupon code, which is OOJ35%. That will save you 35% off your first box, making it only $13.50, including the shipping if you're located in the US. So because of that great introductory price, and it is regularly $20 with the free shipping, and it includes a larger quantity of mainly round glass beads in a variety of different colors. This can be a fun package, especially for younger beaders or those who are mainly interested in stringing and don't really want to deviate too much into all different types of shapes, but you'd still like a fun monthly surprise to play around with. And maybe, for example, if you have a younger person in your life in particular, this would be something they'd look forward to getting since it's a lower cost option and you all could bead together, or this could accompany something else you're working on at the same time. But let's go ahead and get into this. As you can see here on the label too, these curated bead boxes all contain a finding starter kit. So each and every time you're also going to get that, which is another reason I recommend it for newer or younger beaders as well, because it'll give you some stringing materials and findings to use right away. And additionally, they have a sister site called dollarbead.com. You can pop in those model numbers that you see on the list at the top of the box and order more of these if you'd like at their online store, and also find a lot of these similar items in all different colors. So let's go ahead and open it up. And we have a special insert this month. Let's see what it says. All right, so there is a special contest this month. I think the last time I saw one of these was like maybe last year, and it says you can submit a photo of your creation made with this month's bead box to be entered to win a prize bead bundle. So you do have to enter by March 31st, which may be too late for some of you if you don't have this box, but if you happen to have it, you can feel free to enter. And it's also just to show you what promo they have going on. So everything is located below this tissue paper. We'll get a sneak peek and then I'll show you what everything looks like close up one at a time. All right, so just like we saw on the outside of the package, we have a lot of earthy tones this time around with some pops of brighter, fresh green. And these palettes change each and every month, so it's different from last month, and next month will be something different from this. So right now I'm going to get organized, and I'll be right back. So as we generally do, we'll start with our larger, chunkiest size in the 12mm round, and these are the copper glass pearls on an 8-inch strand. They have a really beautiful, satiny, soft copper color that is really light, and as usual, you have a lot here to work with. The beads and everything are all very usable. Now, they're not like Preciosa or Swarovski quality, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just pointing that out to you so you know what to expect from this particular box. So it's one where you can expect to find a lot more quantity over top of the line quality, which of course, if you're getting that, you'd be paying a lot more for this subscription. So that kicks us off. And that brings us to our next strand, which contains the 10mm brown marble style glass beads, again on an 8-inch string. These have several different tones of brown over top of a lighter creamy white glass bead with that marble style or sort of watercolor-like effect, providing for a lot of variation in the splotches of color from the very dark chocolate brown to the lighter shades of tan. And then getting slightly smaller still, we now have a strand of the 8mm copper glass pearl beads. This is a 16-inch string of those. With this color being just a little different from the first copper pearls we took a look at, these having a more of a golden brown appearance to me, and the first one having a little bit more of that reddish coppery color as an undertone. Both very pleasing, elegant, and neutral shades though, and nice that they are slightly different, but would also coordinate very well together. And this is a very long strand, so you get, like I said, just a lot to work with. And we have our varieties of the pearls mixed with other styles of glass, no plastic beads in these strands at all, and occasionally you'll see some stone strands pop up. I'm going to show you these next two together because they are the same style and the same size, both of them being full of the 6mm rounds and also being very generous long 16-inch strands. And these are the marble style. Once again, we have the apple green and also we have the sandy brown. So these two colors sort of bringing that palette that they've brought us together with the greens and the browns. That apple green adding a very vibrant pop to some of those more neutral shades and also a brighter pop of green to some of our other shades of green that we'll be looking at in this selection. And it does actually look like we have two different varieties of stone beads in our strands section. First up, we have the 8mm green aventurine, about 7 to 8 inches of those, with overall having that shade of green you expect to see in the aventurine stone. Few areas of neutral, more brownish spots showing up in some of these, but overall they have decent pigment. I'm not a gemstone bead expert, but I wouldn't categorize them as like your highest grade or anything if I were to give them a grade rating, but they're all still very consistent and are more than acceptable to use. And then for our last strand, we have what they're listing as the 8mm gray/brown gemstone beads on a 7 to 8 inch string. And I'm not going to speculate on what these are. And it's also possible they could be a combination, but the point is here you have some stone bead material and this strand giving us even more neutrals, bringing in a little bit of gray too with some of those browns and taupes. And some darker shades too that could be combined with our other strands of beads. So in addition to the strands that you're going to see every month, you'll also get some additional items that are bagged up and include things like focals or bead mixes, spacer beads, pendants, tassels. It could be a variety of things, but first, we have a bag containing the 16 by 12mm green semi-opaque oval glass beads, and there's 8 included. So we have more fresh green. This is like a spearmint type of color in these solid opaque glass ovals that are pretty chunky and provide something other than the round shape to work with. These are more elongated and will break up the rounds a little bit. And the way these are pigmented, it actually almost feels like I'm holding and looking at some sort of stone bead instead of glass. Our next item is a bag containing about 1 ounce of what they're calling the Jungle Designer Glass Bead Mix. So we have some more of these brownish shades showing up and some warmer golden or amber glass. In different sizes, we have some faceted rounds there in that golden color, these larger rounds, as well as some darker, smaller round beads. These are just additional things that you could add in that they're giving you in this mix of smaller quantities in addition to the larger quantities that you find on the strands. Our next 3 bags contain metallic components all in the silver color. First up is a bag containing some 6mm silver brass spacer beads, and there's about 40 pieces, it says, in the bag. So these are very bright and shiny and may be a little bit larger than the standard spacer beads. We see a lot of times them coming in like a 4mm or 3mm size, so these may give you something a little bit larger if you don't already have something like this in your stash. And they're also pretty hollowed out, so they're not too terribly heavy or anything if you were to incorporate these with the beads, breaking up some of those colors with the shiny metallic silver. Up next, I just went ahead and took these out of the bag. There's a selection of 6 of these 16 by 12 millimeter giraffe silver metal charms. And they are 3-dimensional and pretty sweet actually. They're pretty small, but are solid, as you can see, turning those in all sorts of different directions with a loop there at the top, and give you something to go along with the Serengeti theme. And our last bag before the Finding Starter Kit contains a 46 by 54 millimeter elephant face silver metal pendant. This is actually quite ornate, and it makes me think about the vintage metallic paints or other types of things that you can use to really bring out the details in something like this. I could see this being very colorful if you wanted to make it that way, with all those different areas. Even just in the ears alone, you can see all the shapes that have been suggested there for you. And in addition to that, it looks like there's this flat area which you could use to incorporate a flat back crystal or something else, a little cabochon right there, to really enhance the look of this pendant and make it stand out even more. Here's a look at the back. So it is not double-sided. This is quite large though, so if it were filled in or even double-sided, it would definitely add to the weight of it. So it's already pretty substantial and solid feeling. And like I said, this might be a cool piece to experiment with, especially with all those different designs. And then last, here is our Finding Starter Kit, which this month is in a tone of silver, which matches our other metallic components. You'll see that switch off generally between tones of silver and gold, and these will contain the same things every single month. So it'll help you refresh your stash of some basic findings and stringing materials along with your monthly bead box, or provide you with something you may not already have, especially if you are newer or younger. This will get you set up right away to start creating with the beads. So inside, we always find a segment of stretch cord, which you can use, of course, to make a number of different stretch bracelets. There's also a segment of memory wire in the silver tone. There's multiple coils of that. And we have our selection of bead stringing wire, great in particular for making some necklaces. And then they've got you started with some earring findings in the form of the fishhook style ear wires. We also have some elongated silver plated head pins and your other basics like crimp beads and jump rings, and of course some lobster clasps. So that wraps it up for the March 2023 Curated Bead Box. And don't forget, for this month only, for the time being, they are running that fun contest. So if you have gotten your hands on this one, or if it's by chance still available, you do need to get your entry in by March 31st. All the details, of course, on that insert that's provided with this box. So once again, we have come to expect a monthly variety similar to this, and the palette we have this month is definitely different from what we've received recently, and at least over the past 6 months, if not more. So they do a great job at switching up the different colors, so you're not getting the same palette over and over again. That helps you build up your stash over time. And as you can see here, you get a substantial quantity of beads to work with, especially great if you are still learning or just want to keep things simple. So don't forget, you can use that coupon code OOJ 35%, which will save you 35% off your first box if you'd like to try them out. And that, as well as the link to their subscription, is right down below the video. I hope you enjoyed checking out the monthly contents that you see here, and most importantly, that it's helpful for you, because I love to bring you all sorts of different subscription options. Not everybody's needs and wants are the same, so it can be helpful to have the chance to check out the contents up close and see what speaks to you. But that wraps it up. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel while you're here. Give the video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it or found it helpful, and feel free to share the video wherever you like. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope to see you all next time, and until then, I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and as always, happy beading.